Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that whenever we release a video at the Jamaica Young Police channel, you'll be the first to receive the same. Remember to share the video with your friend, your mama, papa, girlfriend, boyfriend, and your side chick and side man. Yes, and post a comment below, even just to post and say, I am here to show your appreciation of the work that we are doing here at the Jamaica Young Police channel. And thanks for being a part of the movement. So, moving on. We at the Jamaica Young Police channel, we hate criminals with a passion. So here's one of them. This guy's name is Javon Pinnock. Yeah, aka Froggy. Have a distinct scar on the left side of his face, and him eye go all the way down to him cheekbone. And you know, more or less is a Jamaican do that, you know, telephone cut. I don't know how them come by that thing for, you know, to scar people face like that, and that it's just awful, but terrible people. So this man that you're looking at, his name is Javon Pinnock, aka Froggy. Yeah, Froggy them call him on the street, and he's wanted in New York, in Queens, New York, for the murder of Javon Jamison, a Jamaican youth them called Blingers. Yes, and Blingers was killed almost 2 years ago by this man and another man named Christopher King. Christopher King is in custody in New York, awaiting trial for the murder of Jamison. So we are appealing, we are begging, beseeching you Jamaican people in Jamaica and the diaspora, wherever you see this man, to inform the police, whether it's 119 or 911, and let them know that this man is wanted in New York for the murder of Javon Jamison, so that this man can be placed in custody or go straight to the departure home where he belongs, and that's justice. And we say that because we hate criminals with a passion, because there was no reason for this man to kill Blingers, because Blingers was not a threat to him at the time. It was murder, clear murder. Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video. Yeah, so you know, I was talking to, to a lady from Third World. She was expressing certain sentiments towards Vybz Kartel, and she had mentioned how Vybz Kartel, Mikey Pelper, and my cousin John Wayne Kunda, and a whole heap of other youths in a Waterford that helped destroy the place and turn it into a concrete jungle where I am from. The same mindset that they brought to Portmore, to Waterford, in which Waterford was supposed to be, although a Portmore, but it's supposed to be like an uptown living. But although it's supposed to be a, back in the early 80s when you live at Waterford, you live at Waterford, Passage Fort, Independence City, Cumberland and these places. It's like you are living uptown. You live the dream because you come out of the ghetto from Jonestown jungle. And and she expressed, it was a conversation not for public consumption. This is someone who knew me, my father, my mother, and she knew members of my family. When somebody can address me by my first name and can tell me my father's first name, my mother, my siblings, and and even people that I were friends with, one of them passed away some decades ago. That these are people that know me. And so we were having this conversation about the real Gaza meaning And this is someone who's educated. And to be honest, and she begged me to really educate the people them about the real Gaza meaning, because she's like, these people are using a word that they don't even understand the meaning behind it. So I have, this is something that I have done before, and and she said to educate yourself before you repeat foolishness. Stop calling yourself Gaza. But I should say, Jamaicans, stop calling yourself Gaza. You are not rebels. You are being misled. Words have meaning. Let me say it again. Words have meaning. And if you don't know the weight behind the word you speak, then you are nothing more than a puppet in someone else's twisted theater. So let's talk about this obsession with calling yourself Gaza. Because it's clear that far too many people in Jamaica can't think critically. And she's right, can't read beyond a headline and can't grasp the facts that words shape reality. And when you speak evil into existence, don't act surprised when evil show up at your doorstep, because you invite it in. That's why they say if you think positive, that's what you will think. Do you even know what Gaza is? The real Gaza Strip is one of the most tragic places on earth. A land ravaged by decades of war, bloodshed, bombs, and poverty. A place where babies are buried before they can learn to speak. A place where mothers cry themselves to sleep, and young men grow up knowing nothing but violence, fear, and oppression. Gaza is not a joke. Gaza is not a fashion. Gaza is not a dancehall crew. Gaza is pain. Gaza is death. Gaza is trauma. So to all of the ignoramus and dummies in Jamaica, it's just simple as what, we just tell you. Gaza is nothing but pain. Gaza is death. Gaza is trauma. Gaza is PTSD. So why in God's name would any sane person living in Jamaica thousands of miles proudly associate themselves with that one word? Adija, Vibes Cartel, Palmer. Let's educate the uneducated. Vibes Cartel, real name Adija Palmer, didn't just create music, he created a cult. He corrupted the mind of thousands with his lyrics, filth, promoting murder, lawlessness, and hatred under these guise of art. He turned Portmore into a breeding ground for criminal worship, and then had the gall to name his movement Gaza, as if he was some oppressed revolutionary. But let me tell you the truth that many are afraid to say. Vibes Cartel is not a hero. He's a venomous, dangerous, manipulative artist. I know, because he was one connected to my own family. I have seen the poison up close. He's a master of deception, a man who smiles at the public while orchestrating terror behind closed doors. I know we have an entire generation who doesn't read, doesn't question, doesn't learn. They just repeat. That's how it is when you're from a PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization community. You just repeat, because they don't encourage you to read. Gaza, me say, as if it's a badge of honor. No fool, it's a mark of shame when you're using Gaza and think it's a badge of honor. It's a mark of shame. It's a sign that you have been brainwashed by a man who never love you, never fought for you, and who would sell you out for $1 and a bottle of Hennessy. Understand this. When you call yourself Gaza, you are not calling for liberation. You are calling for self-destruction. You are aligning yourself with global tragedy and local disgrace. And you are helping to cement a culture where black life has no value, decency is laughed at, and crime is glorified. So to every Jamaican still shouting Gaza, let me ask you, do you even know what you are saying? Or are you just another parrot in the plantation repeating master cartel's order because thinking for yourself is too hard? Wake up, dummies. Read a book. Pick up a Bible. Open your eyes. Words of meanings. Gaza means destruction. Gaza means war. Gaza means hopelessness. Jamaica deserve better. You deserve better. But it starts with knowing what you are and refusing to let criminals define your identity. That I mean is why many Jamaicans do not like yours truly. So as I said before, Jamaicans and people in the Caribbean and the diaspora, let's talk. I have seen the video from Vybz Kartel performance at the Barclay Center, and I see how it was filled. These are people, I'm not saying some, I'm saying all of it. Every one of you who attend one of his concerts and spend how much hundreds and thousands of dollars to go and see a man that is morally ethical, who's bankrupt, devil incarnate. Let's talk. What does Gaza really mean? A wake-up call for the people in Waterford. Too many Jamaicans, especially in communities like Waterford, in St. Catherine, and other parts of Jamaica and in the diaspora, have embraced the term Gaza as if it were a badge of honor, an identity, or even a lifestyle. The word has become synonymous with loyalty to a dancehall artist and a so-called movement that often glorify violence, killing, in form of the dead, rebellion, and anti-establishment rhetoric. Everything to do with law and order, they are not for it. But let's pause momentarily and ask ourselves, do you people understand what you are invoking when you call yourselves Gaza? The real Gaza, a living nightmare in 2025. In 2025, the real Gaza Strip is a region under extreme siege, poverty, and bloodshed. It is located in the Middle East, between Israel and Egypt, in the continent of Africa, and has been the center of one of the world's most long-standing and brutal geopolitical conflicts. When you talk about genocide in real time, that's what you're talking about. And you want to associate yourself with something that is what is happening. People in Waterford, no one is dropping bombs on you. Or you associate yourself with people from Gaza. Babies dying under debris before they can even speak. In a week, 40,000 people are killed there. United Nations helpless because the United States of America support the killing of these people. It doesn't matter who's in charge of the American government and what is the purpose. Thousands of civilians, including women and children, have been killed, maimed, and displaced. The people of Gaza are not dancing or chanting lyrics. They are burying their dead, living without consistent electricity or clean water, dodging airstrikes, and desperately trying to survive amid military blockades, political chaos, Gaza in 2025 is a war-torn prison where freedom is a fantasy, not a slogan. So when some Jamaicans, particularly young people in Waterford and other parts of Jamaica, or in the diaspora, proudly proclaim, "We come from Gaza," they unknowingly demonstrate a painful level of ignorance. That means you're illiterate, gullibility, and disconnection from global reality. How did this misuse begin? The misuse of the term Gaza in Jamaica began with Adidja Palmer, better known as Vybz Kartel, who branded his music empire as Portmore Gaza, referring to a section of Waterford. This was a marketing strategy, not a political statement. Over time, the word took on a cult-like meaning, and many youths began to identify with Gaza without ever questioning its origin or global context. What began as a metaphor for struggle and marginalization was twisted into a subculture of lawlessness, defiance of authority, and blind allegiance to one man and his ideology. And now, decades later, we see generations of youth pledging loyalty to a word they do not understand, while the real Gaza is a graveyard for innocent civilians. The danger of being gullible: Jamaicans' ability to adopt a term like Gaza without grasping its significance is a symptomatic of a more significant problem. This society too often embraces symbols and slogans without understanding their meaning. It's not just ignorance, it's the failure of education, critical thinking, and cultural awareness. But that's how it is when you're from PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization communities in Jamaica. If your parents will encourage you or make it mandatory for you to read, you're going to be led by the shepherd and you become a sheep. Ask yourself, would you feel comfortable if someone in another country refer to their violent neighborhood as Jamaica simply because it sounds cool or rebellious, all while completely unaware of our history, struggles, or culture? Of course not. So why are we doing the same to the suffering people of Palestine? The call to wake up. It's time for Jamaicans, especially the youth, to reclaim their intellectual pride. Learn about the world. Study history. You have YouTube, you can just type in something and learn. You have the History Channel, educate yourself. You have a next channel named Democracy Now, PBS. And you can learn a whole host of website and channels on YouTube as you can learn. Learn about your history. They won't teach in Jamaica, but it's right there on YouTube to teach you what your ancestors have been through. Check out 1619 project, when the first black person was brought to America as slave, and then you will understand what is happening in the world. Understand the power of words you use. If you want to represent Waterford, represent it as Waterford. Be proud of your real community. Celebrate the root, your heritage, your resilience. But don't hide behind a word belonging to a people suffering in ways you can't imagine. Yes, big thanks to everyone who reached out via the channel's telephone number to show interest in subscribing to our new platform. One that builds to speak truth to power and impact every single person living in America and around the world. It doesn't matter if you are black, white, yellow, green, blue, or red. This message is for all people who believe in freedom, truth, and justice. Yes. As we have said before, the name of the new channel speaks for itself. United we win, divided we lose. And you're looking at, most people say that they cannot find it and all kind of things. So now, getting the feedback from from most of you people, in which, well, we can't even count the amount of people that reach out to us and leave message. We cannot find it. You have to understand that my voice, this voice is not a voice that has been loved by the powers that be. Because when you speak truth, they try to censor you in every way. But guess what? We're not going to stop, So, united we win, divided we lose. That's not just a slogan. It's a fact. It's a call to rise above fear and stop playing it safe, while the system quietly chews up and spit us out. Even you. Cowards might think they are staying out of trouble by staying silent, but in the end, we just say it runs there spiritually, mentally, financially, and politically. So here's the truth. It is better to live a life and die as a free, honest, decent, honorable, and truthful human being than to exist as an obedient, broken slave, begging for crumbs from a table that was never built for you. For over 400 years, our ancestors, we are taught black people, cried out to a God. They were taught to fear, kneeling and praying to a man in the sky, while their bodies were chained and their minds conditioned. That didn't free them. What did? Knowledge, courage, unity. Men like Taki, who the same maroons in Jamaica kill, chop off his head and put on a pike. Taki is the one why the United States of America exists today as a republic, but they won't teach the white people in America. A black man who took on the British Empire and won. And it's time we walk that same path. Any bolder? This new channel is not for the weak-hearted, the lukewarm, or for the comfortably numbed. It is for those who know who they are, God's children, defined by nature, fearless by choice. If that's you, welcome on. To the rest, stay away. We don't need friends who are secretly enemies. We don't need deadweight doubters or deceivers. When we say enemies, we're talking about everything that stands against the truth. Lies, manipulation, division, cowardice, and blind obedience. No more lies, no more games, no more silence. This channel is the battleground for truth, and we are not backing down. How many times can they kill us once? Millions of our ancestors has died for this, for the little freedom that we're enjoying. God created every man equal, but some think that they're superior. And those who think that they're superior, just look, not one of them have ever been the fastest one in the world. Their genes are recessive. Our genes are dominant. So please, subscribe to the channel. We know that we are being sabotaged and tampered by the powers that be. But as time goes by, the truth will reveal. You have never been bombed. You have never been shot cold-blooded by people occupying force of another country. You have never lost your land. You're not a people who live in a state that is stateless. To say Gaza without understanding Gaza is to insult the dead, the oppressed, and the truth. Let's go beyond unquestioning loyalty to pop culture. Let's become a nation that value knowledge over noise, meaning over marketing, and truth over trend. As a people, it's time for us to wake up and stop being led by people who are destructive in every way you can. The devil incarnate, Vibes Cartel, whether I'm black or white. Yeah, so what most Jamaicans do not know that Gaza is pain, Gaza is death, Gaza is trauma, and Jamaicans must stop glorifying suffering. Gaza is not just a word, it's a wound, it's a never-ending funeral. It's a symbol of generations trapped in a cycle of bloodshed and grief. When you say Gaza, without understanding what it truly represents, You are not being rebellious. You are being reckless. You insult the mothers who have buried their sons, their daughters, their babies, their husbands. You disrespected the children growing up without limbs, without hope, without peace. You trample on the throat of a region where people live every day on the seas. Gaza is a global tragedy, not a dancehall clique, not a street name, not a fashion statement. So why is it that Jamaicans, especially those of us from the inner city communities, keep choosing the worst possible names to define ourselves and our homes? Why do we wrap ourselves in titles that glorify violence, death, and hopelessness? Why do we choose to identify with pain? I remember where I used to live in Arnett Gardens, Kingston 12, concrete jungle. The part where that I live wasn't called Peace Avenue or Prosperity Way. No, it was called Scarface Pathway. Yes, Scarface, like the violent gun-obsessed, fictional drug lord. A name born out of Hollywood, fiction, adapted by ghetto reality and weaponized by political manipulation. That's the reason why I eat out against these people, because of these things have effect on people's minds. That wasn't a name chosen by the people. It was imposed. It was normalized by the PNP government and their enforcers in the garrisons. It was tool of psychological warfare. Because if you name a place after a killer, a gangster, or a war zone, what do you expect the youth growing up there to become? Law-abiding professionals? Or the next generation of killers and criminals? You think it's a coincidence? It's not. It's the PNP government that named my pathway Scarface Pathway. They could have given us names with aspiration, like Singapore Way, Italy Crescent, Monaco Drive, place associated with wealth, elegance, innovation and order. Names that would inspire ambition, education or global vision. But they didn't. They gave us Scarface, Zimbabwe, Tel Aviv, Baghdad, Hanover, Texas, Pegasus, and Gaza, all names ties to warfare, instability, and poverty. It's a deliberate design. Keep the ghetto mind tethered to suffering. So it's never imagined freedom. And now, in 2025, we still haven't escaped the trap. We have taken those same names, and passed them down like inheritance. Young men proudly shout, Gaza, me say. Our man say, oh, a jungle me come from. With no idea what Gaza truly is. No idea of the bombs, the funerals, the 75 years of blood. They scream Gaza while killing their own brothers in Portmore, unaware that they are mimicking the very trauma that Gaza represents. This is cultural madness. It's not pride. It's not programming. We have been mentally colonized by death culture, and we keep passing it off as identity. But what we call ourselves matters. What we name our communities shape our destiny. Jamaica, it's time to reject the language of death and reclaim the language of life. It's time to rename ourselves and our spaces with power, not pain. Let us start calling our communities by names that uplift, that educate, that inspire. Like Marcus Garvey. Because if we continue to chant Gaza while ignoring its meaning, we are not just insulting the truth, we are inviting the same curse to fall upon our children. And then you're wondering, Why are they suffering? Because you invite the same curse into your community and your life. It's time to change the thought process. Read. Somebody from within the ghetto, just like yours truly, can echo some sentiment of positivity. We are all one people. And it's time for us to take back our minds from those who you look up to as gods and as role models. They are not. They are merchants of death and destruction. It's an insult to use the word Gaza, because Gaza only represents pain, death, and trauma. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.